Welcome back. We continue our Gonzaga basketball oral history series today. This time we turn to the women's team. I chatted with Kelly Graves, Courtney Vandersloot, and Shannon Reeder about their Sweet 16 win in Spokane Arena over Louisville. It still remains the farthest the women have ever gone in the tournament.
It was pretty loud.
The crowd was unreal. The environment was deafening.
I think they felt that there was going to be something special happening and that they would be a part of it.
It was really fun too to put on a display for Spokane and for the women's basketball world to know how special Spokane was and how special this team was to the city and this community.
Courtney was incredible during the NCAA tournament that year.
Man, it was like a dream.
She was just on a magical run, and it continued against Louisville.
You know those moments where you just watch someone and they're in the zone and you don't know how to explain it, and they just have this fire and drive.
I felt like, I was the head of the snake and I needed to lead this team. I was just like, okay, it's now or never.
Debbie Antonelli, who was doing the call, she said, "My goodness, this kid can do whatever she wants." And it was the truth.
It's still difficult to describe.
I just remember the intensity and emotion of that game being at an all-time high.
There are a ton of photos of us on the sideline at the end of that game as teammates, and we were interlocked arms and fingers and everything.
I remember and ones and seeing Janelle flexing and Kelly Bowen just flex, and those are things that those players don't usually do. When the buzzer rang, that was the point where I was like, okay, we did it, we got it, we made it through.
I always get the question, what are your favorite moments as a coach? And there was one after that Louisville game.
That moment, I can't forget. It's engraved in my brain.
Courtney was being interviewed on the court by ESPN. She was done. She started kind of jogging back to our side of the court to leave the court. She saw me waiting for her, and she went off into a dead sprint, jumped into my arms. We had a big hug.
To have him just wrap his arms around me and just feel that it was more than just basketball with us.
It was a reminder of really pure joy. In that moment, both me and as a coach and her as a player, I think we're living what it means to be, completely joyful.
We set team goals at the beginning of every year, and our team goal that year was to make it to the Elite Eight.
I don't do that now, and I think partly because we were good enough to move on after that game.
We got back into the locker room after that buzzer went off, and it was oh God, we see this big board that says Elite Eight, and it's well, now we have a new goal. I
think I learned a lesson. I don't want to put limits on my team, so I don't put those kind of sayings on the board each time.
When we made that goal, it was that was a really reached out goal. In hindsight, yes, I do agree with him, but at the time, it just felt like that was our national championship.
Every year when the NCAA tournament comes around, you kind of re-up yourself to remember that of one point in my career, I was a part of one team of only 8 remaining in the NCAA tournament. That's pretty cool.
I don't have a Final Four on my resume, a national championship on my resume, and I'm completely okay with that because I think what we accomplished as that group was equivalent.
For us during that time, we just felt like we were kids playing a game that we loved with really great people and a really great community. But as years and years have passed, I really am realizing how special it was and how special Gonzaga is.
By golly, we did it.
The Zags were seeded 11th that year. They remain the highest seeded team ever to make an Elite Eight. That's it for sports. We'll be right back.